You know, at about the 18-month mark of my apprenticeship, Mr. Kimura's style really took a pretty dramatic shift. Each of his corps of apprentices had a different stylistic approach that he applied. And when I say apprentice corps, whether it just organically occurred like this or he designed it to occur like this, his apprentice teams of legitimate kind of lasting, standing apprentices occurred in groups of threes. And the last of kind of his middle group of three was Mr. Urushabata Taiga. And when Mr. Urushabata left, the day after he left, Mr. Kimura came out, and his expectation of us as apprentices and stylistically the kind of work he was demanding of us from that point forward literally changed overnight, and he decided that he was going to go with a much more soft, organic matter of working on trees instead of kind of that really aggressive, highly defined style that we would all typically associate with Mr. Kimura. And it really gave way from that excuse to wire everything to really needing how to retrain myself to understand how to wire a lot with virtually nothing. And it's a skill set that you don't see many professionals have, that flexibility to go between the highly defined and then I would say the less literal interpretation of bonsai, which would be more soft and organic in form. And is interesting having that conversation with Peter about kind of that formation of bonsai, because his interpretation was, it's so much easier for people to understand when a tree's wired out and really tight and defined. It's easier to understand, that I got my money's worth, that tree's been worked on. But in all actuality, this far less defined style is kind of where bonsai is supposed to be going constantly. It's the goal, more or less. It was nice to get that piece of education from my time in Japan, instead of walking away with the impression that the way you treat bonsai is to wire everything out all the time and create that plastic model of tree. That's a pretty far departure from how we handle trees at Mirai as a result of my experiences there.